You're here today with weetss, and this is the Artz Over Anxiety workshops with weetss, where we come together and we talk and we discuss manners of how we get through on a day-to-day basis dealing with anxiety. Today, I want to touch on the subject of manifesting. Manifestation is the training of the body and the mind and spirit to get you prepared for what you manifest and what you want. In life, sometimes we need to prepare for everything and anything that we're going to do, whether it's getting up, going to school. These are things we learn as a kid at a certain time. You got to get up, go to school, and that's what you got to do. But during your day-to-day, there are things that come in your light that says, wow, I want to do that one day. You speak it into existence and believe in yourself. Manifestation is not a thought of thinking, of hoping things will come through. It's what they are. They are your dreams and your goal. And with your faith and the steps behind them, they can be done. Some people think with manifestation that is, okay, I'm going to manifest for something and boom, it's just automatically supposed to happen. When manifestation doesn't work like that, you got to feel it, you got to believe it, and you got to want it. But sometimes we're not even aware. At a young age, we might think we might want to be a teacher or a doctor or a lawyer or a chef, and the list goes on. But as you get older, you see people in fields, in different fields, and you see that there's much more broad and horizon of careers that you can do. And then you start saying, I could see myself actually doing that one day. I want you to understand that hoping and wishing is not the same thing as manifesting. And a lot of times when we are wishing and hoping for something, we are sad or either we're mad, okay? So a lot of times when we're wishing, it reminds us more of what we don't have and what we don't want and what we, take that back. Hoping and wishing is not the same as manifesting. A lot of times when we wish, we hope for things. We are sad or mad, and a lot of times it reminds us of what we don't have at that moment, or you don't have what you're trying to get. So a lot of times people get that confused. At a wishing state, I know when I wish, let me speak for myself. When I wish for something, when I used to, I had to know the difference. I was like, oh man, I wish I had $1 million, or I wish I had some more Barbie dolls, and wishing, you're actually looking at what you got like that. I don't have it, so I wish I had it. It tends to make you more depressed. Manifestation is about making decisions inside to empower yourself to get to it. Athletes, I said before, chefs, lawyers, and architects like me, and artists, we prepare for things. We prepare. It's just like a runner. If they ain't gonna go to a game before people get into the NBA, WNBA, you know how many years they have practiced and they have played for little leagues. Then they go on to play for middle schools, then high schools, then college. Then finally they get their big break, whether it's the NFL, Top Chef with Gordon Ramsay, or on legal court with Judge Million. Who knows? Your dreams are possible when you manifest. But at one point in life, there's a point when you have to look at somebody in those fields and manifest and say, I can do that. I can see myself being that one day. You got to figure out what your talents are and what your gifts are. And by doing that, when you take self-inventory, a lot of times, when doing that, you have to take self-inventory. Find out what your gifts are. Find out what your talents are. And to the mothers and fathers out here, maybe grandparents, we all know it takes a village to raise one child. You got to notice sometimes your kids can be good at something and they don't even know it. I think the parents and people around the child figure out, wow, you know, she's good at drawing, or wow, he's good at a little cooking there, or wow, you know what, he's good at speaking. It's up to us as adults to encourage and enhance and nurture the talents of our children, therefore leading them one day to manifest being their best self in that career. Manifestation, put yourself right there at the scene of your imagination. You can feel some type of force in your body, soul, and spirit, and this causes you want to take more actions to get it. I'll give you a little story. After I got clean and sober for 1 year, I thought that was the hardest thing that I would ever have to do, but it wasn't. I was working at the airport. I worked for TSA, and I was like the first round of people that came in. Sometimes they didn't have gloves, and sometimes they did. At any point, in any rate, I still had to go on and do my job. Within doing that job, I contacted a disease, if you want to call it, a foreign substance that got into my body. It shut down my whole nervous system. I was trying to hold on and keep that job so bad. I said, oh my goodness, I'm working for the federal government. And a lot of people would tell me, wow, sweet, you're going back to the airport? And I said, you know, sometimes I started my job at the airport. You know, back in the day, you could lie and say you're 16, but I was only 13. I did security at night, and I went to school in the daytime. I love the airport, and at that time when I got a job back, I felt I made a full circle back, and I felt that I had to live some life first. I had to get clean for a year, and then I was going right in the right path. I had a dream about a skywalk that led to somewhere, and I seen it in my vision, in my dream. And when I went to apply for that job, do you know, I literally had to walk across that skywalk. And the thing about life is, I didn't know what journey I had to go after that. I said out loud, oh my goodness, to quit drinking was the hardest thing I ever had to do. No, it was the second hardest thing I had to do. And I learned how to not put things in the universe that you're not ready for. I started working at the airport. 3 months later, one leg started tripping out. The next leg started tripping, and I was walking a little deformed. But I said, no, I got to keep this job. I got to keep it. Went to the hospital one time. They said it was my sciatic nerve. They wanted to give me some Percocets. I said, no, I just got clean. If I can't get rid of it with Tylenol, I'll be okay. I was thinking I was going to be okay, but I actually wasn't. 2 months, a month passed, and by that time, I was falling. I was dropping things on the floor. I used to stay at one spot at the airport. Being a supervisor, I would have to use if I had to use the bathroom. I remember being at the airport, stationarying myself at one spot. So even if I had to use the bathroom, I figured out a way not to drink so I wouldn't have to use the bathroom, because walking was so difficult for me without falling. As time went on, a month later, my daughter's father said, it's time for you to go back to the hospital. I can't believe you ain't went back again. And by that time, I had no reflex in my whole body, from my head down to my toe. I was walking, holding the walls to keep me up. I didn't know what was going on with me. I'm like, Lord, did I get clean for nothing? And then my brain, this thinking that I have, you know, used to have, wow, this didn't happen when I was drinking. Maybe I should have just kept on drinking. But no, I had to go through that journey. I was in the hospital. I thought maybe about a week or two, I'll be out of here, I'll be all right. 1 week led into 4 weeks. 4 weeks led into 3 months. 3 months led into 6 months in the hospital. I had to learn how to walk, wash myself, feed myself all over again. By going through that, I just want to give you this backdrop. You know, by going through that, the doctors told me I would never walk again. They wanted to put a trach in my throat, And I was like, oh God, this can't be happening to me. I stayed in the hospital 2 months undiagnosed. Unlike if you got cancer, you know you got to go do chemo. So that's, you know what you got to do, what journey you have to be on to healthiness or getting yourself better. With me, it was the process of elimination. We'll treat you for this, and if you get better with this, then it's that. But if you don't get better with that, then we know we'll give you something else, some other drug to treat you with. Eventually, I had a treatment, and it gave me meningitis, which set me back another month from going to rehab. Because mind you, while I'm sick, I still got to keep my muscle mass going. At that time, the doctors was telling me these things, and I was in my mind like, no, I got too many hills at home. I cannot not walk again. Do you see my children? I got little kids here. Like, I'm young. How am I going to be in a wheelchair? That maybe this is just a pit stop for me, but this can't be it. Let me tell you something. I manifested where I am today from that day in the hospital. Don't get me wrong. At that time, I had to believe what the doctors were saying, but I knew what I felt in my heart, and I manifested, and I prayed, and I prayed. I said, God, please let me walk again. This can't be this for me. This cannot be my destiny. I knew I had to do hard work. I knew I had to get up and do therapy. At times, I would ask the therapist that wasn't even my therapist to please come and help me, take care of me, do this right here, because I need to walk. I don't care what the doctors say. I closed my eyes and I would pray and I would manifest myself dancing again, walking, running, playing with my children, and I believed that. I believed it. I believed it in my heart and spirit. And let me tell you something about manifesting. You know, the brain can't tell and let me tell you about something. The brain can't tell or distinguish between real life experiences from detailed experiences. Through imagining and manifestation, this is one of the main reasons you feel so good after. And I love manifestation because, yeah, you do feel good. A lot of times, I manifest right now today. Oh, Lord, please let me be in Oprah's backyard. I see myself going to the 2 chairs. It's nice. It's outside. It's sunny. Every time I think about that and I manifest it and I know it's real, I get happy. I get happy inside because, like they said, the brain can't distinguish between the realistic thoughts and imagination in real life. So once you start imagining and once you start manifesting right there where you are, you get a sense of feeling inside like, yes, I can do this and I can be there. I can definitely be there. It's just, don't give up. Don't give up and keep on manifesting and keep on praying too. One thing about manifesting, it keeps you on your toes and keeps you ready to do the work. And have faith that one day it will come true because you know it will happen because you are training and you're preparing your body, your mind, soul, and spirit for what you want. And these are some tips that I want to give you guys. And you're putting these little tips in place and moving forward with your manifestation on a daily, you'll see a difference in the way you move, in the way you feel, and in the way you think because you're doing these little things. Remember, do it daily. You're in training, okay? You're about to be a professional in whatever you're manifesting, okay? Do it daily. When you get up in the morning, when you get in the shower, nobody can tell you when it's time for you to manifest it. Sometimes you need quiet. You need quiet time. Sometimes it's loud times when people can manifest things and take their self out of the situation of ruckus and noise and know, okay, I'm going to be okay. And I'm not going to be in this situation. Everything, too, shall pass when you're in a bad situation. Remember, do not get impatient. There's no time limit on manifestation. Just keep doing it and do the work and don't give up. You gotta not give up. When you give up on things sometimes, and believe me, I know there's places, people, and things that try to get in your way on a daily. You got to put in your mind, listen, this is what I want. This is my dream. It's up here. People will tell you and bring you all the way back down here to the bottom. Oh, you can't do that. You're too old. You're sick. You're this, that. Every reason in the book. People will try to destroy your dreams. And those people right there are not good for you. Get rid of them ASAP, okay? ASAP. Get rid of people like that. Because if your win is not their win should not be your win. Always remember that, because some people are just there for, there's a story about the eagle and the crows, okay? The eagle flies and soars. Sometimes he comes down. He comes down to a level. The crows like to mess with him. Oh, he don't want to fight the little crow, you understand? Because he's a big old eagle. He's big, he's white, one of our biggest birds ever. Crows keep messing with him. You know what he does? He rises above, right? The crows think that they could still get him and rise above to where he's going. And you know what? The crows end up killing themselves because they can't fly at a high altitude like the eagle. Let yourself be the eagle and let the haters stay down there. People, places, and things that are not for you is totally against you. And you know what you feel in your heart when those people come around. It's a sense of anxiety. It's a sense of uncomfortability. And sometimes they might even be our family. Learn who to have in your circle. Protect your energy, because with manifestation, that is very important, to keep positive people around you at all times. Please listen, and please learn how to listen and become a student. Learn everything along the way to your manifestation. You see, I'm here at the Brockton Community Access, and I'm so grateful to be here. I manifested a show and a podcast. I didn't know how I was going to get it. I don't know where I was going to get it. I was buying my own equipment, using my phone, my little iPhone, trying to get some footage. And look at God. I'm so grateful for you guys here that gave me an opportunity to make my dream come true. And while I was manifesting this moment right here, I had to learn how to go out and get it, how to ask a question. Can I be a part of? If they said no, then they said no, but I would have never knew if I didn't open my mouth and ask. Taking the courses of the editing training, taking the courses for the podcast room. Never give up and always practice. Because it does make perfect. Well, we don't want to be perfect, but it does make you better and better at what you're trying to do. And as we know, we all have room to grow and be better persons, fathers, sisters, brothers, all those things. I think if you keep it open-minded and be loving and kind and caring, you'll always have room to grow inside. Taking personal inventory of yourself is needed at all times. Number 4, let's always keep the manifestation looped around positivity. You gotta keep it around there, because you know what? Looking at manifestation, it's really nothing that you have solid in your hand. I know this pyramid is right here, right? But if it wasn't, I could just imagine it being there, right? Keep positivity around it. Don't let nothing negative come around it. I tell you, there was so many people told me about the Artz Over Anxiety workshop that it wouldn't work. I said, I got to create this for the people. I wanted to, in my mind, I manifested a safe haven where we all could go. People with anxieties trying to cope on a day-to-day, whether it's with your job or school or just family. We all have a certain amount, and sometimes we got to curb it in. So I had to make a place where it wasn't churchy, okay? Because I'm a spiritual person. Let's be clear. I thought I was a religious person, which it goes along with, but I'm more spiritual than anything. We're going to have a talk about that real soon. Keep positivity around you, please, at all times. We all know when we're in a bad situation, you just get up and leave, or no, I can't come, or I won't be showing up. I'm sorry. Those are the things that we have to do. Keeping that manifestation, saying, this is not my destiny, okay? I got places to go, people to see, and people to move, okay, at all times. Because where you at ain't got nothing to do with where you're going. Keep manifesting. And every time you make a move towards what you want to do, celebrate the moment. Celebrate the moment. If you're manifesting on being a chef, and every time you watch the challenge of the bacon cook-off for the spring, hey, and you get a note or you get a tip, oh, that's how I'm going to cook my cake next time. Every piece of knowledge you get is one step closer to what you're manifesting. You just got to train. A lawyer can't go and be a lawyer. You got to be a preterm. Excuse me. A lot of times when you're going to be a medical doctor, you got to do residency, right? That prepares you to be inside the hospital. Me, as an architect at the Boston Architectural College, I could have got straight A's, but if I did not have the hours that I was supposed to have in by each end of every semester, I wouldn't have been able to graduate. I wouldn't be able to go forward to the next semester, because you know why? They want you to prepare. They want you to train. They want you to get in the field. And this is one thing too. Once you do start manifesting what you want to be, when you start training and going for it, sometimes your dream changes, right? You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed. Nobody said once you manifest for one thing, that's it. You can be manifesting for several things at the same time. And while you're manifesting, look at the tape at the finish line. It's the main goal. But still remember, while training, it's a state of mind, body, and spirit. To keep inspired, you make all the moves you need to get to win the race. And you can win the race. The finish line is down there. You might can't see it, but you see a little strip of it, but it's there. But it's there. And every step you take is one step closer to what you need to do. I'm trying to tell you guys, manifesting doesn't work without hard works and steps behind it. And I'll get back to when I was in the hospital and I was manifesting, walking again. And look, I walk with a cane now, and it's okay. You know, I'm not embarrassed about it. I'm not embarrassed about it one bit. At one time, I was embarrassed about the wheelchair. You know, it took a toll on me, because when I came out, you know, I'm used to being an able person. But, you know, I took that wheelchair and I said, you know what, I still got things to do. At that time, I was aspiring to be an architect. Due to medical issues, I had to stop for a little while at the BAC. But during the time that I was there, I was in my wheelchair. I was looking cute. I had tutoring. I prepared all the steps for me to be successful. One time I was in there and I went to go see my advisor, Lucy Chen. And I said, look, I need a tutor. She said, it's only like the first 2 days of school. I said, I'm preparing because I'm going to need a tutor, definitely. I was scared going back to college. My daughter was in high school, getting ready to graduate. My son was having a child. And I looked at myself in the wheelchair like, I don't think I could do this, you know. But then I told myself, yes, you can. You know, you're trying to go to be an AutoCAD operator. Why don't you go for being an architect? So that's what I did. And on that journey to being an architect, it was very challenging. I hadn't been to school in about 20-some-odd years. And I was ready because I was willing to learn. I surrendered to the process. And I always wanted from a kid to know how the pyramids were made. So that's where my fascination came in with architecture. I focused on that in high school. I went to Boston Technical High School. From that job, from that school, I landed a job at City Hall of Boston, where I spent several years being a junior engineering aide. I was very young with that job. I didn't know what to do with it. I was battling alcohol and some drugs at that time. And I was only 17 when I graduated. Talking about being around the wrong people, places, and times, I had a golden opportunity and I didn't even know it. I didn't have the people around me to support me and nurture me and like snap up out of it. You need to get your life together right now because this is what it is right here. Like you can be the mayor one day if you just play your cards right. That wasn't for me though. You know, I got pregnant, I had my son, and then the rest is history on that part. But a lot of times I think back with my architecture and doing it, the college in my latter years in life, that's one thing I didn't see coming. I didn't foresee it coming, but look, from a young kid, I was manifesting how to learn about the pyramids. As I got into school at that time, architecture is such a big world. I found my place in it, and I wanted to focus on the handicap with architecture. Sometimes until you're in a situation, you really don't know the inconvenience of it. There was times when I would park my car, oh, it's just a little bit in the handicap spot, it's okay. Until I was in a wheelchair, did I know and realize how important it really is to be mindful of handicapped people with their situations, you know? Because once I was trying to get up on the sidewalk with my brother pushing me, somebody was right there. I couldn't get on the sidewalk. Therefore, my brother had to push me in the street. I had to get used to it, and I said, if this is my life, then I'm going to get with it. In Rome, you're Rome, okay? So I got used to it, still out here knowing that I still got to do therapy, I still got to do the work, and I can't complain, all right? I didn't complain about anything. I hurt on a daily, but I don't want anybody's sympathy for that. I am so grateful to be walking as much as I can, and I do what I can. This is why I want to give back to everybody out there listening. My workshop was manifested in my mind. God, Jesus, please can I give a safe haven to people where they can come talk about anything that's going on with them inside and know it's going to be okay. A lot of times we make our situations worse than it really has to be. That's anxiety, right? A lot of these situations that I'm telling you about, I had anxiety through the roof. I didn't know how I was going to make it, but I knew if I did the work, I would make it, definitely. In the process of going to school, I learned, why can't I focus on the handicap with the architecture? There was a building where I used to have to try to get inside and figure out my way because I had to jump my wheelchair around because there wasn't enough room for me to swing out and go into the elevator. That made me so mad, and especially this is happening at an architectural college. I found my place there, but like I said, due to surgeries, I had a total of 9 surgeries and operations. And when I was ready to come back to school, because I never like to start something and don't finish it. So by the time I was ready, surgeries, healing, things like that, COVID happened. When COVID happened, I'm going to tell you, art saved my life. I painted over so many paintings. I can say I painted over 590-something paintings I count. I just had my house renovated, and that's how many I have now, and I have given away over 300. I was painting like Picasso's niche, you hear me? I wasn't stopping because I knew there was a reason why I was painting. Don't get me wrong, sometimes I thought I was losing my mind. But you know what? I didn't give up. And during that time, I had to sit alone with myself. I said, you need to create a space where people can come, a safe haven. I don't know what you got to do it, but you got to do it. We got to be able to have a little fun. We got to be able to talk and have a little fun and laugh. We got to be able to have a little church. just vague with the church, you know, any religion is welcome. We got to sit down and talk about how we get to where we got to go and what journey we're on. We all might be getting to Target, but you might be taking the bus, I might be taking the train, and the next person is driving. But the main goal we're talking about is getting to our God that we respect and love. Let's have a little bit of that conversation. And then at the end, we got to have a little bit of therapy together. It's got to be a safe place. I want it to be nice manifestation music playing at all times. All times. I would love that. And this type of aura and effervescence that a person gets when they come into my workshop with a nice craft on the table. We have food, refreshments. I want you to go home full. I want you to go home full with love, full with food, and full with life tools to take and balance and use these tools I give you as an art weapon. I want you to take the tools that I give you as weapons over art and anxiety and mental illness. Look, a lot of people need a little bit more help, and that's okay. Psychiatrists, therapists, even counselors, social workers at your hospital and clinic, they can help you or lead you to the right way if you feel like you need a little bit more help. Because let me tell you something, there is a better way of living than having anxieties and mental illness all the time. When I didn't finish school, I was so down on myself. I'm like, Dad, I'm a failure. You know, I really wanted to get my bachelor's and walk across the stage with my little cane or wheelchair, however I be. Some days I go back and forth. I really thought that was going to happen. And like I said, I'm my worst critic. But that was not my destiny. It really wasn't, because as I think about it, those are the times when, in 2013, when this vision started percolating up in my head. And don't get me wrong, distractions and things come along the way, and you have to deal with it. Because you know what? This Artz Over Anxiety workshop was my manifestation. And during along the way, I had a lot of bumps in the road. I could tell you one that was really devastating to me, and I stopped painting altogether and got rid of the vision. My niece, Cassandra, she was 26, and we worked so hard. Before I had Artz Over Anxiety, I had a record label, Heartbreakers Entertainment. If it don't kill you, it'll make you stronger. That was our logo. And we did so much. My son was my main artist. Oh, we did the T-shirt. We learned how to do the silk screening. It was trial and error, back and forth, but we got it. We had shows booked. We had T-shirts made. We did the CDs, and it was like my son had me and my niece Sandra behind him, and we was like we was a well-working oil machine. She had lupus. We both were sick, so we had our art in common, and we also had sickness in common. She had also graduated from school and college. Wait a minute. My niece also graduated from college, and she graduated as a graphic designer. Oh my goodness, she always painted, I always painted. It was like, you know, and we loved each other unconditionally. She was a bright force in my life. At the time, we started thinking of, maybe we should do some art shows. And I said, okay, Heartbreakers Entertainment, let's represent for the art, okay? So we had one show together, and I'm like, Sandra, oh, you just wait. We're going to be in the piano craft gallery one day. We're going to be in here, and we're going to show our art at the gallery. And we was like, yeah. A year later after that, she started getting a little sicker. She started going to doctors in Washington to find out about her special type of lupus that she did have. While I'm dealing with my sickness, I'm overcome with hers because there's no rhyme or reason for some things that are going on. And if she had lupus, we can treat her for this. But this is happening, so we're trying to figure out why, and what can we do? It took about, I say, 1 year, and she was gone to heaven. When she left me, I was mad, I was sad, and I didn't know what to do. And by myself, all along it had been me and her. And I manifested the Artz Over Anxiety. I had to realize that that was my dream. I'm sure it was hers too, but being my dream, I said, I don't want to do it no more. I swear, in my house, I packed up every painting I had. I put it in the corner. Every one that I had of hers, I put it in a section in my hallway. I don't know how many times I cried when she passed. Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, Arctic Oceans, and more. I was hurt. I didn't know why. Sometimes I think I felt survivor's remorse because I'm like, damn, she was young. Not why it could have been me. You know, I have lived life. I have had children. I have a grandson. I just felt bad about it because she didn't have a chance. She was only 26 to get her things going. She was just starting to blossom. I prayed one day. I got on my knees so hard. And I said, Lord, if it's for me to do this Artz Over Anxiety program, I want you to give me a sign. Give me a sign that I can do this, because right now I don't have the strength. You know how much I want to do an Artz Over Anxiety program. I want to have people come. I want to teach them what I have learned, especially where I come from in the urban community. It's frowned upon to check on your mental health. And I don't know why, because if you had cancer, lupus, or AIDS, you would run to take the treatment to make you better so you can live and be in a place where you're settled and happy. People, so hard for them to take a medicine. And you want to take the medicine you need for your mind, what you want to do, take that after you hurt somebody, or you don't have the chance to take it after you have hurt in yourself. I pray to God, please give me a sign, anything. If I'm supposed to do this artwork and be an artist and do this Artz Over Anxiety thing, please let me know. All of a sudden, about 10 minutes later, I got off the floor from praying and crying. And I went back into my routine of my daily life. And I was washing dishes. And I heard a boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, oh my goodness, baby, that's my grandson. I love baby. Baby, what are you doing? He said, Mumsy, I didn't do anything. I said, well, what was that noise? He said, I don't know. It came from around the corner. I said, okay. I went around the corner. I seen all my niece's paintings had fell out. And you know, I swear to God, on a stack of Bibles right now, when those paintings fell out, do you know they was all my niece's paintings? Not one of mine fell, not one of anybody else's fell, not even a blank canvas fell. It was all my niece's paintings, and they fell on the floor. I had to take some time. I said, okay, Lord, and okay, Sandra, I'm going to proceed with this Artz Over Anxiety workshop. And you know what? I hit the ground, and I haven't stopped yet since. I haven't stopped since, because I know I got the sign I asked for, and I need it. She wouldn't want me here, not doing what I wanted, not doing what I manifested. And I took that as a sign, and I started back manifesting for this Artz Over Anxiety. A lot of things will happen. I say this to tell you a backdrop, to let you know there's been plenty places in my life that only thing I had to keep me going was manifesting. You hear me? In my soul and spirit, I didn't have it, but I knew I can achieve it. This is where spirituality comes into play. You got to know how to block out everything else and be selfish and concentrate on you. You're the only you got at the end of the day. A lot of times people think, okay, this is it for me. I go to work, I got this job, it pays good. But deep down inside, you might want to coach. You might want to coach a little league after school baseball team. Maybe that's what's in your spirit. You really don't want to be doing this. I know we all got to work. We all got to do things we do. Jesus, Lord, I have had a million jobs, from checking tags to volunteering to having to do it as a chore to getting a job making good money. I have had a numerous of jobs, but I can tell you one thing. It's nothing more rewarded than doing this. And I do this from the heart. People have told me, oh, Sweets, you shouldn't do the show for free. You give away the food, you give away the canvases or the craft that's given, you give a good message, and then you send people off with a thank you bag. Don't do that for free. My heart tells me to do it because you know what? I'm just have a little bit, but I live life grateful. So when you live life gratefully, you live life knowing that I got enough so I can share. Because I feel if you can't keep what you got unless you give some away, right? In this day and time, with all these diseases, tragedies, new information popping up about UFOs and things like that, we have to keep grounded. We have to be selfish. We have to live life for self. And we have to know sometimes when you ask for signs, you get them. But when you get them, you got to know how to react on them. My niece Sandra, I know she's smiling in heaven right now. You know, even might be right here with me in spirit. The thing about it is, don't give up on your dream. Your dream. A lot of people have doing things that their parents want them to do. I never knew college was so unpredictable until I got there. I was judgmental. I would see kids go to college and come out and do something totally different. I'd be like, you mean tell me you spent all that money on the college and you're going to come out and do something different? It was beyond me. I was being judgmental. Let people do what they want to do. Maybe what they did, they was doing it for someone else, not themselves, okay? A lot of times we keep jobs to feed our family because we know we got to pay rent. I want to be something else. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. You know, I took some classes. I like it, you know. But that was back then. A lot of people will push it. Ooh, excuse me. A lot of people will push things. A lot of people will push things to the side and act like they didn't even happen. A lot of times, you know, you'll tuck your dreams up under the rug for someone else, you know. That's not fair, and that's not fair to you. You keep your dreams up front. For the people who have children, you always got to know that after children care of when they grow up, you have to have that in place because your kids will grow up, and they're definitely going to do that. That's a fact. What about you? What about the things maybe you put on hold to raise your kids? Because even with me, I couldn't have went to college while my kids were small. I couldn't do it. I had to work. I had to provide. I had to make sure they were straight. So there was no college for me, but I still kept that in my heart. You know, so when my daughter was about to graduate, people would tell her, how's your mother in college and you're about to graduate? Just like this. Just like this. People told me, why would you even be going to college while your daughter's in high school? Ain't she about to go to college? Yes, she is. We're going to do it just like this. And me and my daughter both were college students at the same time. What a miracle. It's a big change from me and my mother being pregnant at the same time. And that's another workshop I'm going to talk to you guys about. But I just want to tell you guys I just want to tell you guys that anything is possible. As long as you put the steps and the work in behind it, anything is possible. And be careful what you manifest, because some people always say, oh, I ain't got nothing. Oh, I wish I had this. Or you know what, I'm never going to be nothing. Or I'm all, you know, What you put out in the universe, sometimes exactly what happened. So when you find yourself in those stuck ruts and those places that you can't even get yourself out of because you don't even know how you got there, you know how you got there? You manifested it. You said, I'll never be nothing. You said, this is all I'm going to have. You said, this is it. And you can't never do that because where you're going ain't got nothing to do. You can't never give up because where you're going ain't got nothing to do with where you're at right now at this moment. Keep yourself around positive people. I cannot stress that enough because it just takes one mustard seed of doubt to get in your brain. And do you know the mustard seed, one little mustard seed is so small. That mustard seed can grow 30 feet high, and that mustard seed carries seeds, right, that spread out and plant more seeds. It could go 30 feet high and 30 feet wide. And that's the same thing and the same effect that the mustard seed has on the brain, okay? Mustard seed of doubt, you can't do that. And then and if you have anxiety, you'll start believing that. No, I can't do that. Well, you know, my mother said, my boyfriend said, my sister said, or my friend said, right? I can't do it. It's too hard. How am I ever going to achieve that? You're thinking too big. You're a dreamer. You're dreaming too big. You can do exactly what you want. And you put the mustard seed of hope and life and I'm going to do this in your brain so that can grow 30 feet high and spread 30 feet wide because you know what? You got what it takes inside of you to do what you want to do. Don't leave it up to nobody else. You do it and you show them. And you don't have to be mean when you get there because a real person will see when you're doing it. You don't have to flaunt it. You don't have to see, I did this. You told me I couldn't. Just do what you're doing. When you do your job and you stay in your lane and you know how to drive, you don't have to get in nobody else's lane. I drove up here. 1 second. When you stay in your lane and you know how to drive, you'll be okay. I have drove to Brockton out here so many times, and you know what? I figured out what lanes to get in to get me here. And no matter if I'm going 60, I'm going to go 60. You can go 85, 90 if you want to. I'm going to stay 60, 65. I'm going by the rules, okay? You can go around. You can speed up. You can be in my back of my bumper like a gynecologist, okay? Jesus Christ, all up in my bumper. You know what? You can do all that. I'm going to stay in my lane. I'm going to do 60. And you know what? I'm going to get to the Brockton Community Access Center on time. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of times it's just like that in life. Stay in your lane. No matter if anybody blowing, want to go around, up in your back of you, trying to push you to do something different, you can do it. Stay in your lane. It's just like driving. You don't have to worry about nothing outside of that car. Just like your vessel, your temple of you don't have to worry about anything negative going outside of you. But be aware, sometimes you can't do it by yourself. You cannot get to where you're going by yourself, but it starts with you and it ends with you. You're going to need people to come in your life for a meaning, reason, and season during manifestation. You just got to pick out which one's which. Don't be discouraged if people go. Sometimes when you let people go and they fall out, when they see you doing better, when they see you get into the dream you're trying to achieve, there will be people. They like you when you're all dusty and messed up. So when you start to rise and you start looking good, like a phoenix from the ashes, oh, she thinks she's all that. Or look at her. Oh, my goodness, she's changing. Yep, I am changing. I'm elevating. I'm rising. I'm getting to my dream. I have manifested this. I have seen it in my mind over 1,000,000 times. All I had to do was believe. And here I am. I have arrived. You can arrive too. And it takes time. Don't get discouraged when things don't happen when you want them to. Sometimes it's not up to you. It's not that. You get the divine intervention when it's needed. But just be prepared. It's going to come. It's coming. Sometimes you don't know when it's coming. And if you just think, if you really know when something good is about to happen, would you keep as much faith? Would you do as much work? I don't think so. If you knew when it was coming, be like, okay, I'm getting married in 2025. I ain't got to do nothing. I know when I'm going to do that. I'm going to be having my arts program going on in 2018, so I'm okay. You know, manifestation. You're looking at manifestation right here. Believe me, guys, if you don't believe it, believe me, I did it. And I do it all the time. And sometimes I say, Lord, I don't know what I'm doing, but I just believe that I can do it. And I can. Like I said, through my niece's death, through my illness, through my single motherhood, right? I have allowed myself to manifest this Artz Over Anxiety program. I had allowed myself to manifest this podcast and workshop show. It can happen. This is what I didn't have when I needed, when I was going through struggles. Please, somebody tell me it's going to be okay. Can you tell me that? And then I'll keep on moving. I'll keep on trying. I will. But can you just tell me just for the day, if I keep doing what I got to do, things are going to be okay? I could have slept a little bit easier. I really could have. And then I'd like to see somebody where it happened to. Make it make sense so I can believe you. If you are like me, then I'm that person, okay? I have been through hard times, and I'm still going through hard times. I have been sicker, but I'm still sick, you understand? But I keep moving. I am somebody's mom. I'm somebody's grandmother. I'm somebody's sister. I'm somebody's aunt. You hear me? And those are the titles, whether I'd be a famous architect or a famous artist or a famous songwriter. Those titles I just mentioned are the ones that mean so much to me. Mother, grandmother, sister, aunt, cousin, all those things. You hear me? And friend. Because there are some good people out there who can be your friends. But you know what? Your friends just turn into being family anyway. So if they're good enough to be a friend, come on in the family. That's what I do. So at the end of the day, guys, I want you guys to know, don't be hard on yourself. Don't give up on the dream, because it's just almost there. Remember what I said about that tape at the finish line? All you got to do is keep going and pop. You know how you pop it open with your chest when you get almost there? Pop. Yeah, that. And you will get to that finish line. I'm telling you, you will. Believe me. Trust me. I have done it several times. Again, my cane. I'm so grateful to have that cane. And I'm so grateful when I have to use my wheelchair. I still break out with it. As long as I'm looking cute like I always do, hey, I am there. I let nothing embarrass me anymore, especially when it's up to me doing what I got to do. I have to tell myself, you forget about that. You know what? You get in that wheelchair and you do what you got to do. You get that cane and you do what you got to do. You show up and you show out. You understand? That's what it's all about. And person with anxiety, I have talked myself out of showing up so many times prior that now I have to talk to myself and say, you're going to show up. I don't care what you're saying. I have to talk to the disease of anxiety every day with medicine, okay? But I live more life so grateful that I have the medicine that helps me out. I had to change several times and find out what works for me, and I did in order for me to live a productive life. I don't want to be woozy. I don't want to be tired. I don't want to be too much. You know what I mean? So I had to find something that works for me to help me, and you can do it too. A lot of times when people get medicines, they end up not wanting to take it because it's a side effect of different, everybody's their own individual, so each medicine might affect you differently than it affects me. But I'm just here to tell you there's different medications you can get on. Like I said before, if you had AIDS or cancer or lupus, you would be really willing to take the medicine to get better. People, please remember your mental health. Remember, don't let it go to the wayside, because if you don't have everything right from here on in, the spiritual, nothing's going to work. You can lose weight, you can do surgery, makeup, and all those things that camouflage what you're feeling inside. Take care of what's feeling inside, because every time you do that, you're one step better to getting to be the best person you can be. Without help, sometimes we feel trapped. There's people I know before the Artz Over Anxiety got into their life, they would stay inside. They would be nervous to come out, you know. I had them start coming out to the shows, being in a nice environment, and that absolutely did work for them. So I'm so grateful whenever I can touch somebody and let them know that once the hardest thing is just getting outside. The hardest thing is just getting up and doing it, you know, because once you're in the process of doing it, you got to finish doing what you're doing. So please remember, you know, being sober. That's another thing I manifested a long time before I got sober, you know. Like I said, I was in a detox with my son. I got pregnant, and Lord knows I was so happy to have him. I manifested a child. I needed a child because, you know, at that point of my life, I was suicidal. So I asked God, please, you know, I tried to commit suicide one time, and I said, Jesus, I need something to live for. And God blessed me with my son. And I think from that point, I knew that I could manifest anything I wanted. I needed my son, and God gave him to me. My son saved my life. And that's another story that we're going to have in the Artz Over Anxiety workshop, because there's layers to me. And I want to be open to you guys and tell you things so that you can get a backdrop and know that I'm coming to you honest from a place of where these anxieties have made me feel stagnant and I couldn't go anywhere. And when I did go anywhere, I had to self-medicate and drink to get normal just to start my day. I don't want you guys to have to do that. And anybody who's going through the self-medication phase of alcohol, drinking, drugging, just to make you feel normal in your own skin, I know how that feels, you know. And people don't understand the feeling of not knowing what you got going on and you trying to be your own doctor and self-medicate the problem when you ain't had one day of training or schooling about psychology. When did you graduate from Harvard and you want to start diagnosing yourself? So a lot of people from where I come from, they'll drink. Oh, I'm just drinking just to calm down. I just need a drink because I got to go do this. Like I said, that's another story for another day. I want you guys to keep on manifesting. You keep on dreaming. No dream is too big and no dream is too small. It's your dream. Don't let nobody take it from you. You hear me? Do the best you can. You take inventory of yourself every day to be the best person you can be. And remember, the Artz Over Anxiety workshop, where we have church, a little deaf comedy jam, and we have therapy. It's a safe haven for you to be yourself and have a workshop of art. I will be showing in this video how we're going to make a little artwork, and maybe on your mean in between time you can do the same thing. So I thank you all for being here with me. I'm Sweets from the Artz Over Anxiety workshop with Sweets, and come on back with me. I got more stories to tell and more healing techniques to use, putting the Artz Over Anxiety and mental illness. You guys, I thank you so much. Thank you guys at the BCA for letting me come through. This is Sweets with the Artz Over Anxiety workshop with Sweets. Keep putting the arts over your anxiety and mental illness, and I'm going to see you next time. Peace.